Hi there, yes, welcome back. A reminder of that big breaking news that Henrik Stenson has been named as the Ryder Cup captain for Europe. And he'll be looking to reclaim the trophy back for them in Rome. Jamie Weir, you've just got off the hotline to him. What was he like? What did he say?
Oh, well, he said what you would expect him to say, that it's a huge honour and he can't wait and he's very excited about it, etc., etc. He'll be a fantastic captain, I've got no doubt about it. You speak to anybody who's played he's played in 5 Ryder Cups, Henrik Stenson, speak to anybody who's played in those teams alongside him and they'll all say that he's the life and soul of the team room and he's the one, he's got so much charisma. I think people sometimes see him as a bit cold and aloof.
Yeah,
I mean, he is the Iceman,
exactly.
But he's got a very dry sense of humour. He's very funny, gets on very well with the media as well, all the players. I think it's a bit of a surprise as well for a lot of people. I think most people thought that Luke Donald was a shoo-in. Henrik Stenson's only been vice-captain once to Padraig Harrington last year, and that was not a great Ryder Cup from a European point of view. They tend to have done it a couple of times before they step into the big seat, which Luke Donald has done.
So why have they gone for him then, do you think?
Well, I know that they had a different process this time. They interviewed 4 candidates for the job. Panel interviewed 4 candidates. I would imagine the other 3 were probably Luke Donald, Graham McDowell and Robert Carlson, Henrik Stenson's fellow countryman. Henrik's the one they've gone with. I think they've gone with him because of his charisma, because of his warmth, because of how much the players like him. I think they need a galvanising personality if there's any chance next year against this incredible crop of young American players. But look, there's some good European players coming through as well, and he was keen to say that to me when we spoke on Zoom a few minutes ago. The last month in the world of golf has been a very unsettling period with talk of this proposed Saudi Golf League. Henrik Stenson was one of the names that had been linked to that. So I did ask him, look, Henrik, was accepting this job on the condition that you don't jump ship to the Saudi Golf League? And he just sort of gave me an answer and said, look, I've told the panel I'm very focused on the Ryder Cup. And he didn't exactly answer it with a straight yes or no. But does it also preclude what he would want his backroom staff to look like? The likes of Ian Poulter, Lee Westwood, they're potential vice-captains. They're also names that have been linked with this Saudi Golf League as well. So, look, that is to be discussed further down the line. I think also, I remember speaking to Padraig Harrington when he was appointed a couple of years ago, and he says that when you accept the captaincy, it's almost like accepting semi-retirement, like your playing days are behind you.
Yes, it feels very much like that.
And Henrik Stenson is still playing good golf, and I could still imagine him being on that team next year. But he said, look, if this is the end of the road for me in terms of my playing days, and I bow out with great memories in Paris a few years ago when Thomas Bjorn was captain, and I did ask him any chance of a playing captain. He said it's just now there's too much on a captain's plate these days that you can't be a playing captain as well. We saw it back in the sort of 60s and 70s with the likes of Arnold Palmer and Jack Nicklaus. It was possible back then. I don't think it is these days, and he accepted that. But look, you don't want to hear me wittering on. Do you want to hear from the man himself?
Please do.
Here he is.
No, it's been a slightly different process, I'd say, this time around. We were 4 candidates that were interviewed by a panel, probably about 3-4 weeks out from the decision, and we were asked to give our thoughts on the captaincy and everything that goes with it, and then that panel sat back and reflected on those interviews, I presume, and then came back with the captaincy to me last Friday. So yeah, honoured, excited, and of course thanking the panel for believing in me and giving me that big task.
I think it'll be an appointment that maybe surprises a few people, primarily because I think a lot of people thought you could still be playing on the next team. I remember Padraig saying to me a couple of years ago that when you become captain, it feels almost like semi-retirement. But is that the way you look at it, or do you still have good golf ahead of you?
I still hope I got good golf ahead of me, but of course, in terms of Ryder Cup, yeah, I would have liked to play last time around in 2020. That wasn't the case, and yeah, I'm not getting any younger, same as you, Jamie. So I'm delighted to take this position. Yes, it might mean that that my own playing career as a Ryder Cup player is over, but if that's it, I go out on a nice win in Paris in 2018, and I look back at those memories over the years that I've had with the team and as a player in the Ryder Cup very fondly, and it's been great times. And now it might be a new chapter in that sense. But I'm all for that, and I'm really up for this challenge. I'm super excited, and yeah, it's going to be a fun 18 months ahead of us.
It's been a while since we've had a playing captain in a Ryder Cup. Can you rule that out now?
I think with everything that goes with it, probably that might have worked back in the day, but I don't think that's feasible these days. But when the qualification process starts, I'll try and be ready and try and wrap up a few points, and if nothing else, motivate my team to make sure that I don't qualify on that list.
Just a quick one on that qualification process. Have you decided about how many from the world list, how many from the European list, how many picks?
No, we haven't done that at this point. We still got time. We got a good 6 months ahead of us to get all those things planned out and use the experience and the knowledge we have in the team around to figure out the details around the qualification process. So there's no rush on that end, and we'll announce that in due course when the time is right.
I see what you mean. He's cool, isn't he?
Yeah,
he's very cool, but he's got a sense of humour there.
Yes, he does.
In terms of, because obviously everyone was talking about it could be Luke Donald. Where does that leave him? And do you know anything about vice captaincy at the moment?
I think we should feel a bit of sympathy for Luke Donald now, because his Ryder Cup record as a player is phenomenal. He's only ever been on winning teams as a Ryder Cup player. He was vice captain to Thomas Bjorn back in Paris, so that was another winning Ryder Cup for him. Obviously, he was one of Padraig's as well, and that didn't go so well at Whistling Straits last September. But this had sort of been talked about as his chance to be captain. You'd think if it's Henrik Stenson now, then in 2 years' time in New York, or sorry, in 3 years' time, 2 years after that, we might be looking at either Lee Westwood or Ian Poulter for that one in New York. Graham McDowell is the obvious one for Ireland in 2027. Whichever one of Westwood or Poulter hasn't done 2025 might do 2029.
Right. Then
you're getting into the likes of Sergio Garcia, Justin Rose, you know. So was this Luke Donald's one and only chance? Who knows what the future holds? And the big question mark hanging over all of this is the Saudi Golf League. And if the likes of Westwood, McDowell, Poulter all jumped ship to that would probably rule them out from ever being Ryder Cup captains. In fact, I know it would rule them out from ever being Ryder Cup captains. So that's the sort of unknown hanging in the air. So his vice captains in an ideal world, I think, would be those sort of names that we're talking about. McDowell, Poulter, Westwood. Robert Carlson, I imagine, will be in there as well, who's been vice captain the last 2 occasions and is very much seen as the brains of the outfit for Thomas Bjorn. He was the man who had all the sort of numbers in his head and all the tactics and everything. So I think he'll be there as well. But it's a big task on his hands because, as I said, this crop of American players is incredibly impressive. Their weakness in the past was always the fact that they were a bunch of individuals rather than a team. Now they seem as if they're all pally as well. So
that's good to hear.
He's got a big task in his hands.
Brilliant stuff, as always.